Board meeting of October 24th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Do we need a motion on this? I don't think so. Okay, why don't we do the roll call?
Okay, we'll do roll call.
So just
Miller,
say,
Board Member Miller,
pardon me? No.
Board Member Lexima,
Here.
Board Member Berlizzi,
Here.
Vice Chair Barron,
Here.
Chair Kaplan.
Yes, here. Okay, we're
Now
now
we have
going
a
to
quorum.
do we do the Pledge of Allegiance without a flag?
Oh my God, on the screen for us right here.
Oh, there we go. Okay. She put it up on the screen for us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the agenda of July 15th, 16th,
Yes.
2024. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'm going to approve. Second motion.
So approved by Crystal Lexima and second by Colleen Lizzie.
I'm sorry, Board Chair, if I may. You're approving the
Kind of
agenda.
hard to hear you.
I'm sorry.
Did you say something to us?
Yes, you're approving the agenda for tonight. Not the-
You have to approve the agenda for tonight.
We can't hear you that well, but I believe what she's saying is you can't make the motion. Someone else has to make the motion in a second.
Okay,
I move to approve the agenda for October 24th, 2024 Education Advisory Board meeting.
so we need,
I second that motion.
okay. Any questions on that?
Okay, let's go through the motion. We have Board Member Miller, Board Member Lexima,
Yes, I approve.
She did. She probably
Board
didn't
member-
probably hear.
Board Member Berlizzi,
Yes.
Vice Chair Barron,
Yes.
Chair Kaplan.
Yes.
Or carries.
Okay, next is the, somebody needs to make a motion for the approval of the minutes. That's what I was looking at.
Oh.
7/16/2024.
I move to approve the minutes from the meeting on 7/16/24. Second.
Okay.
And
So I do
now we have,
apologize, ladies. I can't, because I can't see you. I do apologize. I can't really see who's making the motion and who's seconded it. Who made the motion?
Barron.
Okay,
Lisa
thank you.
Lisa Barron.
And I seconded Colleen.
Okay,
All
so now, go ahead.
Board Member Lexima?
Yes,
Board
I
Member-
I'm gonna do everybody.
Yeah, I have to do it again.
Okay,
Board Member Berlizzi,
Yes.
Vice Chair Barron,
Yes.
Chair Kaplan,
yes.
Board Member Miller. 4-0 carries.
Not present.
Got it.
Okay, now we move on to unfinished business. Do we have to approve this? I don't think so. Okay, so here's the first item, the Golden Grove Elementary School presentation of 5K funds. We talked about it at our last meeting, but what we didn't talk about was what the process was going to be to make the presentation. So I talked with Zoe about that. It looks like now that they'll have a check ready and that we talked about how we thought it might be a good idea to bring it in front of the council. I think they wanted it to be brought in front of it. And then I will invite Miss Edgecombe to the date and the time.
Okay. And that's at the council meeting.
Yes, it'll be early in December.
Okay.
So they'll.
So the
have a
December
date.
council meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
And Westlake school tours, I think we talked about that. One of the things that has come up in terms of sunshine laws, keeps coming up, is that we can't do the tours together. So if we want to do tours, we have to set those up on our own. So I'm assuming all of you that have schools assigned to you have met with the principals,
Yes, I actually did a tour.
and you did a
Yeah,
tour.
yeah.
All right, so I think it would be good for everybody to visit all the schools. I've been to the high school a couple of times. I met with the former principal.
Okay.
I didn't meet with this one, so I probably should set up a time to do it with the other schools. I would encourage you to do that also, to get kind of a picture of what's going on and what's happening and what they say are the issues. I apologize for that only because I know they don't have a lot of time to individually do this for everybody, but I don't think there's a way around that because of the sunshine laws.
Right.
So what if we like split us into two groups?
No groups.
And we have to do it individually.
Tell me
Like they
about
don't get paid enough.
I know. I know. Well, maybe we can talk about when we're gonna go, so
Maybe
we
the
don't,
next planning day that they have and we can just make a stop.
Like one at a time.
Yeah.
You know, like we switch our order up. Like I go middle school and then elementary and then we'll
how do
text.
how do we organize that though?
I can try to make like a list.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can pull a spreadsheet up
Okay,
and
that'd be great.
And then once we do that, are we to kind of present like what we saw? I mean, I took a lot of notes from this at home. So I don't mind if we do that, once we all have a chance to kind of go through. That way everything's
Yeah, we're gonna
watching
do
from
that
home.
in the comments.
Okay.
And reports and updates, I think.
Perfect.
So, Lisa's graciously agreed to do a little
we'll find out. I'll
crazy,
pick like
crazy
two,
sheet.
I'll find like the next two planning days where the teachers are there and the students aren't there. And then I'll.
Okay, what you would have to do then is send it to Zoe and Jennifer, right?
I'm sorry.
We know that we can't do the tours in a group. So, Lisa's definitely agreed to set up a sheet where it would be on one day, but we'd all go to different schools at different times.
On the same day.
Yes.
Or 2 days. You know.
Yeah. just
Yeah.
make a team and-
If
Yeah.
you have any communications, and I know, if I may, Board Chair, you're gonna mention in your comments, but if you have any communications with any of the principals, please copy the clerk's office. So either copy myself or copy Jennifer.
That's right. Okay, they can do that as long as they copy you. Yeah. Because there was some discussion about initially, we didn't think we were gonna be able to do this at all. But we had that clarified, and it's a sunshine law.
Can you repeat yourself when you said meeting with principals, what happens?
So any communications that you have with the principal, so if you just reach out to them, if you email them, please copy myself or copy Jennifer on your.
I reached out many times to two of the principals, so.
So if you want to forward those over to me, just so it's not to spy on you guys, but
And
it's
then you
just so
send
that
them to me.
that we have
So we can just
record of it.
forward it to you now.
So for Zoe, just to you.
To me or to Jennifer. You have Jennifer. Jennifer sent out the notice. You can forward it to Jennifer.
Okay.
Mhm. And that way we'll have it on our system and we
And
have
then you folks send it to me? Or no?
I'm sorry.
Do you send those?
What we
communications?
can do is send it to everyone on the board.
Okay,
So then everybody's privy to the conversations.
we just can't have those conversations amongst ourselves. Unfortunately.
Now, speaking of the schools, I don't know if this is the right time to bring it up. Have we decided whether Loxahatchee Groves is part of the Westlake?
No, it's not at this time.
They have
Oh,
107 students.
Doesn't matter. That's another issue. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Yeah. What we have to do, remember when Marcia was here? She talked about the boundaries that she was quite a bit uncomfortable about, but that's the way they're set up. But I think what we're gonna have to do is get some of the data on the number of students that are going to schools inside Westlake and outside of Westlake.
Golden Groves is not in Westlake, it's in West Palm Beach.
I know.
No, the address isn't Westlake?
West Palm Beach.
Oh, interesting.
It's a whole crazy thing.
Loxahatchee Groves is actually closer.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think at some point we have to present it to the council. But I think we need some data before we go to them. It's, nice to say we know there's X number of students going here or X number of students going there, but it's a big deal from what she discussed with us the last time to try to change these boundaries. It's not easy. It doesn't say we can't try to do it. I'll bring it to people's attention.
Right.
Because then maybe the more people that talk about it or complain about
It's
it, we're
actually
able to
about
do something.
Our map of our communities in Westlake, it's sectioned off that these communities go to Loxahatchee. It actually identifies these developments.
It's like
as
a
going
sky
to-
code, right?
Yeah,
Really?
that these Skycliff go
Crazy.
to
It's nuts.
Loxahatchee.
But it's also something to keep in mind that we're gonna eventually have our own school too, so to go through all of this to change zones.
Yeah.
Loxahatchee
Which will probably
grows.
take just
Exactly, we might have to think about that.
Good point.
But it doesn't hurt to bring it up as a point of discussion, just so people know that we've thought about it, we're talking about it, and we feel their pain about it sometimes.
Yeah.
And it was the way how it was done. It was very confusing to me in the beginning. Okay, interaction with District 6, Palm Beach County School Board. I know we talked about that briefly. I said I would be willing to go to a meeting, but I've never been to any of the meetings, so I'm going to ask you folks if you have any pointers for me. Should I ask to go to a meeting where a particular topic is being discussed? Or what do you think would be the best plan? I think they need to know that we have an active advisory board now. There were a lot of district people on the board initially. So I don't know if they're asking about or thinking about, us at all. Can't hurt.
Probably not, but I would say, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, I'll go with you if you want to go to one of them.
We can't go together.
Right.
You can go to a public meeting.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
Just don't discuss.
Well, we just can't like sit there and say, oh, here are my notes from the school visit. Yeah.
It's just like if you came to a
Well,
council.
that's a public meeting.
That's what I said.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
public
Oh,
meeting.
all right. Okay.
We just can't conduct business.
So can I call Masha Andrews and ask for a suggestion on what would be the best meeting to attend?
You can email her and copy me.
Okay. Okay. And then anything else on that? The school district? Any? What do they spend most of their time on?
Probably
Budget.
Oh, is it budget? Yeah.
Budget, curriculum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably I'd say budget and curriculum are most of them. And
Masha Andrews is not even our district representative, I don't think, is she? Oh, she is. Okay.
I've got all the new schools that are opening and
Oh, that's true.
rezoning and allocations and yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, well, this is off topic too, but I made a little note. Now they're talking about changing the times that schools are open. Have
Yeah,
you heard about that?
Yeah, they did release a survey,
For the buses.
which they didn't have a maximum amount of times you could take the survey. I just want to say that one
Wow.
there. That was interesting. I'm like,
Well,
oh,
they want to make school times later, except for the elementary, they want to make them early.
It's for the buses. It's
Yeah.
because we don't have enough bus drivers. So the buses would like just start at the elementary school, drop them off and go to the middle school, drop them off, go to the high school.
Really? They mix them up on the bus.
Oh,
No. So the first round of
Oh.
buses would be elementary school only. And then when they're done with that, that's
they
when they
have
would
to
pick up
go
the middle
middle
school.
and then bring them.
Yeah,
to school.
instead of picking everybody up at the same time.
Okay. All right, and then, item D, if there isn't anything else on that topic. No. Assisting Westlake schools with their trade programs, gifted programs, and ENC. We spent a lot of time talking about that, but, this may be, better discussed or put on a list that I, want to do under new business. You okay with that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, anything else under unfinished business? All right, so why don't we move on to new business? I had the impression that in the past, we kind of talked about things that we would like to do, but we really weren't very strategic about what priorities we would like to make and
How to get there.
yeah, what the whole arena is. So I thought maybe what we ought to do is like do a strategic planning brainstorming. You've probably done these many
Many
times.
years ago.
But what we do is we just get a list. We don't talk about the list until the list is complete. And then we can go back item by item, but that can take a lot of time. But usually what I've done, you can tell me if you have another idea, is I ask people to pick between, it depends upon how many topics we get. 3 to 4 topics that you would choose. And then we would see where the majority of people think that these topics ought to be the topics that we want to address. I think it would be helpful for people to know what our focus is, you know. And then the next step after that is how do we get there? Not just to say this is a good idea, but how do we get there? And then if it looks like it's something that we have the ability to make a difference in, then that's what we do with the priority areas. Unless you want to do something else. Okay, all right, you can talk.
Personally, I think teacher shortages.
You're gonna tell that I never learned to print. I didn't in school. They taught me how to write right away. I don't know if that's good or bad. Okay, next.
I know from my perspective, it's gonna be volunteer opportunity.
Definitely funding opportunities, like fundraisers to get back to high schools. Board member Miller would hear you say trade programs.
And I think our high school has a great trade program.
I was there today for unrelated, and I was impressed.
Like a very good trade.
Yeah, the housing part has really got a lot of
I
attention.
don't know a lot that we could even improve on.
Yeah,
because
no,
it's like it's top notch for the county.
Yeah.
Maybe just awareness
Well,
of what's going on with the schools. We all, I don't know if you guys felt that they posted, I think on the Westlake Green page, the baseball coach was looking for anybody to help. He's looking for corporate partnership. I invited him to come. I said it was at City Hall. He, was looking for, they don't even have a concession stand to like raise funds. So it's like, does anybody have a trailer that maybe we could like borrow for baseball games? And, because the athletic department is based off of raising money. They only get so much, and so the football team gets a lot of money. They band and everything like that. But the baseball team, I guess, is really struggling. He played baseball at the high school, he went to college, and he came back to, now he's a teacher and went to the high school. So, he's like asking everybody, like, please, like, sponsor the baseball team. It's not just a
well, when we get back to choosing these, we're gonna tell him to put us on the list.
I invited him.
Maybe we can be getting copies of those.
Mhm.
Okay, what else?
Like to think that we could start like a scholarship program, like that, for local students in Westlake. That would filter into like fundraising. Or,
I know, that's awesome.
Somebody who's active with the school, kind of, gets involved with student council, things like that.
Real under school awareness, maybe a way for the schools to let us know what's going on with their programs, to like highlight their whatever it may be, like a STEAM program, or highlight some type of activity musically, sports wise, something that they can just let everybody know, which I'm sure they do in their own way,
Right,
But,
but now that they know what
pro-
we exist,
community wise.
that would be
Program
awesome too.
highlights.
Program highlights.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could also help bring awareness to some of these programs as well, you know?
Yeah, so I'm sure the schools themselves have it, but for
Yeah.
the community.
Right, yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a good list.
Yeah, I think,
You know, one thing that I saw, and I don't know if we can do it, it was contradicted one place. Maybe you can clarify this for me. I think when Principal McClellan was speaking, I thought at first he said they had cameras on the buses, but then I thought he said they didn't have them. So, do you remember?
they have cameras.
Oh, they do. He
Yeah.
has them. Okay. No cameras. I had fundraising for school. I had some particular items under fundraising. What about anything with the sports programs?
Is that with the baseball?
Yeah, I think it's just like program highlights.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
and like
Apart
And
from needs.
funding too, yeah,
needs, yeah.
definitely.
We got a
Finding
whole,
out
whole,
needs.
yeah.
That's where I think, and when we go to the other comments, like I'll explain a little bit more too from what Principal Edgecombe shared with me, but I think that if we're more privy to what they are lacking, then we have the ability as the board to try to provide or help in any way we can.
Nothing else. No. I was already with tape.
But you were trying to pull a real true Kaizen. I think.
Think about even when you were in school.
I went to like one of those small towns. Let's down for football on Friday nights. Everybody knew everybody. So
Yeah, I've been impressed with, even with what I saw at Golden Grove, but I don't know much more. That, I mean, our schools are pretty awesome. I gotta say.
Okay. This is kind of like this program highlights. Don't you think? Is that? Or if you wanted to make a separate category that says
Yeah, we could do a
specialized
Yeah.
programs, that
Yeah.
updates?
Yeah, like a newsletter
Or
or.
ways that the school can show off their,
what they're doing.
Right.
Even though you don't have students there.
Right.
You might want to go to the theater production.
Yes.
Or I know a lot of people like to go to the football games.
Right.
Or you know, the baseball games or whatever.
And we've got a lot of small business owners in Westlake that I'm sure would love the opportunity to advertise and,
Right,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? So like, if we knew about it, then. we'd
Well,
be
I
able
don't
to-
even know
That's
when the
another outlet
football,
right
go ahead, when the football games are.
Yeah,
Friday nights.
reaching out to, the business community.
yeah,
They want to get their names in, I'm sure.
100%.
That's a good one. I'm thinking of that.
They're all new, they want to get business.
And they want to farm in this area, you know, and be able to have clientele here.
Absolutely.
The writing's getting worse as we get older. This community.
But that's something we'd have to do along with the principal of the school. For example, if they want to sponsor something or donate
Their
something.
PTO, it's usually the PTO
Yeah.
president.
I have something. I'll talk to you about that. Yeah.
Because we can't overlap with what you're doing, right? We have to be aware of what like the schools are doing as far as you just said like PTO or.
Yeah, so usually you reach out to the PTO or PTA president, and then they'll just send you like a list of like gold sponsorship, silver sponsorship,
Mhm.
and then they tell you like what each includes. You get to choose at the end of the sponsorship, like
Mhm.
what department you want that money allocated towards.
Mhm.
So it's pretty comprehensive.
But we can fundraise along with them or.
I think we do our own fundraising.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Just gotta step on
Once
the
we're-
toes that way.
Yeah, we do our own fundraising.
Okay.
You want to just work with these?
Yeah.
Shall we pick our top three?
I
Because I think to say we're gonna do all of them
But yeah.
right away, kind of tough. So, why don't I number them? 1, 2, 3, 4.
What if we each take one and just do research and work towards a plan and bring that to the next meeting?
We can do that. But I think it would be good to talk about what
Well, yeah,
some of the,
what it means, like break it
okay.
down in the group and then that, you know.
but why don't we pick our top three?
Okay.
And then, talk about maybe who wants to do the research on those.
Okay.
Why do you want to do 4?
see how we go.
Okay. I think you gotta take a piece of paper. You don't even have to put your name on it. And pick what, three,
Oh, two, three.
yeah, three, or you want to do four?
I think three is
Three,
good.
good, yeah.
Three's good.
Which three do you think are the top three that we should begin to really aggressively work on?
I know in my community, I've already started the volunteer.
Yeah,
Volunteer opportunities. Yeah, I think that's something that would be fairly easy starting off. It wouldn't be very.
Lemonade retirement community. And
Yeah.
So I had 12 people today go to the Golden, go to school today to volunteer, so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I can get more, and that's just quick.
But I don't know if we can go there.
But we're,
Oh,
Yeah,
Golden
Golden
Grove, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
all Los Angeles is another.
Yeah.
one, so I'm already-
But
Yeah.
I think with that, so this has into like the highlights or the spotlight, because they usually have a list of their events well in advance.
Yes.
So then maybe we could do that when we tie it into volunteer opportunities. We'll have, are we allowed to use a sign up, Genius? Board?
You could, but remember, anything that you do has to go back to council for approval.
Yeah,
Okay,
we gotta get it
so-
approved before we do it.
Correct. Or through, we'll do Greg as your liaison,
Oh.
Greg Langowski, Vice Mayor
Okay.
Langowski.
Hey Greg, are you there?
He's there, but he's muted.
Oh, okay.
Once you come up with what you want to do, we need to take that to council so they can
Be a
approve
good
it.
idea. If we have a sign up Genius, like the online thing, then we can do 3-4 months in advance. Each of us who have a school input what the event is, coordinate.
I don't have a school, but I'm the outreach person.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean? So we would let you
Yeah.
know as the outreach person,
Yeah,
we'd
yeah.
let you know, and then you'd connect with the school about times to sign up for, you know what I mean? Like I know a lot of the schools just needs to be.
Can we do that on Sign Up Genius? Can we all participate in that together? Have you seen one of those?
Well, I think it would be her as the
I
community
have
outreach,
through my
right?
daughter. I'm not completely familiar with it. I know my daughter's done something with it.
Yeah, it's like what you used to use the Westlake pool.
Yeah,
Like, you have to go on there.
we use it in the community.
Yeah.
Westland, too.
But
But it
again,
would-
your ideas
would
you
have
once
to
you
be
collect them,
approved.
you would take it to
Yeah.
council. They would need to understand
But
what
then
it
because
is.
you be feel comfortable, be in charge.
Yeah, just so you know, I was gonna take, let me ask you, what do you think about sending all this to the council through the city manager? The mayor, I don't know which is the
Well,
right,
you have Vice Mayor Langowski, who's your liaison,
oh,
so.
so he can bring them forward.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. So they can see the whole
List,
of
yeah.
what we're talking about. I'd like to see them be more aware and have Greg have some things of substance that he can really bring to them, and then they can tell us if we're gonna have trouble trying to do it the way we think we want to do it,
Right.
which is kind of the next step when we get the top three. So why don't you pick your top three? And then I'll tally them up, so just.
So all of us
Give
in
me a
top
piece
3?
of paper, yeah. I can see my numbers. You guys are ass. I just put it down, I'll just put Jack in. Slide. Were you all collaborating?
You got the same,
Something
also
to
the
say,
same.
yeah, oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so funny. You're fast.
Wow.
Fast writer.
Volunteers too.
Huh?
Volunteers too.
Oh, Want to read them off to me again, just to make sure I have them right?
Okay, volunteer, which is number 2.
Yep.
Funding, which is number 3.
Yeah.
Special programs, which is number 5. Okay, volunteer is number 2. Funding, number 3. Awareness, number 5.
Funding is number 3.
Funding is
Okay,
number-
all right, yeah.
Volunteer is number 2. Funding, number 3. And awareness, number 5. And then what do we have?
And I can, let's see. Volunteer opportunities is number 2. Business community relations was 8. And school awareness partnerships is 5. So it looks like, let's see, we had 2 for 1, 3 for 2, and 1 for 3. And 5 had 3, none for 6, none for 4, and none for 6. Number 7 had 1, and 8 had 1.
2, 3, and
So it looks like it's number 5, number 2,
3.
number 3. We only got funding opportunities. We only got 1.
Oh,
It's like 1, 2, and 5.
5 and 1. Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's 1.
Teacher
1 got
shortages?
2.
I don't see teacher shortages on here.
No,
I think it's funding.
2, 3.
Oh, okay.
that's number. That's,
I think it's 2. I don't think we did. teacher
oh,
shortage.
wait, you're right. How did that end? Uh-oh. You think it was 2?
Yeah, I think we
Why
all
don't,
did
do you want
too.
me to go up and do it?
Oh, yeah,
next
we can
time?
add.
yeah,
Yeah, okay, I'll do it.
Oh, it's 2, 5. Okay, go ahead.
So,
Read them off again.
Volunteer. Funding. School awareness. Volunteer. Funding. School awareness.
Oh.
Volunteer. Funding. Specialty program. 7. And then what Nita has.
when you have,
For what? Well, what do I have? 5 for school awareness,
Mhm.
8 for business community relations, and then volunteer opportunities 2.
so I've got 2.
5, 2, and 3.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll put those 3 on the next page and talk about them. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. We even brought tape, but this is a high class place because they're sticky stuff. on it.
That's what the best ones like. I love being posted.
All right, which one do you want to do first? Funding, volunteer, or school awareness?
Volunteers.
Yeah, let's just start from the top.
Yeah, we'll do
Okay.
volunteers.
Okay, you want to talk about it?
I like Crystal's idea.
All right, go ahead.
Sign up genius.
Sign
I
up.
think each.
You don't even have to pay for that,
I
right? I
know.
know, it's, yeah, and it's not too loaded with ads.
Yeah, so I think each liaison can go to our respective schools, get a,
PTO.
yeah, PTO, get a list of volunteer opportunities. Each school's gonna be different. Like elementary school, for instance, you can sign up to just be the person that opens water bottles for kids in the cafeteria. Like, you know, help with the open applesauce. They do have a shortage for that.
Yeah.
High school may be something different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can go to all of our schools. And then once we have a list of those opportunities, we'll present them to you. And then, of course, this is
Yeah,
all
I can
pending
present
council
to you.
approval.
We have a great community with people who retired, and I think people like former coaches, former teachers. Today we had former teachers, sorry.
Yeah.
Just people that enjoyed being in the classroom. But do you want to go out beyond Westlake? Not Westlake, beyond my
Well,
community?
yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
wondered too. Can we use people other than those on the committee,
What do you mean, job outreach?
like to do outreach? Yeah, can we?
I don't know.
It's got to go to the
So
council.
we'd have to go to town hall
Okay.
and
Yeah.
legally, we have to, you know, I don't know, but have to be careful about who's going into the school, so.
Do they
Well,
do
they
background
have, I was gonna say, they
checks?
have a whole system. They have the Raptor system, so they would get background checks to even be able to be on campus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, that didn't happen today with us. Because we were in a room with a teacher. We weren't here by ourselves.
I don't like that. I wouldn't mind doing it. That's
That's
my
right.
God.
Well, these were grandmother women.
Well,
I know.
Did you get a sticker?
Yes.
Okay, so you were technically checked.
Okay,
Probably
yes,
just don't know.
license.
They scanned your driver's license,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's pretty instant. It's pretty fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, yes, yes. They
Yes.
can
Oh,
take a
okay.
swipe it, or they stick it in the machine.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
a couple
and it
minutes.
checks? Yeah.
There was no
Wow.
fingerprints.
Yeah.
Sign up genius. Volunteers are checked.
Yes, they are checked.
And everything
What's
was
a
locked.
better word there?
Background check. They do background screening.
How about screen?
Yeah, they do the
Oh,
whole screening. And then if the council approves this like volunteer program that you do, we would just send the information on how to do it. Because you can apply on their website, and then when you go into the school, they already have all your information, then they like scan your ID and all that, so.
Okay.
So let me just get this right. So if you talk to Principal Edgecombe and she says, I need this, this, and this, you're gonna let me know, and then I'll reach out. Okay. Same with your
Yeah,
job.
so I go to high school. I'll
So
say,
you're gonna let, you're
"Here's what
gonna
you
let
need,"
her know?
And then you can
No.
say, you just.
Well, she's gonna be the one person in charge of the sign up genius. That way there's not too many chefs in the kitchen.
Okay, so if we're putting information in the sign up genius, do we need, well, we need to know if we can use sign up genius, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
So far I've been using email.
yeah, but we can't email each other.
No, I was emailing the volunteers.
Oh,
And then you could just copy.
Public, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could do that.
mm-hmm.
That's an option too.
Then I'm gonna put
Depends on-
something on here
Have
about
some
can
kind of
we
email sign up.
use
Right, but they would have
volunteers?
to, we'd have to have a bank of volunteers. Like, how would we create
Yeah,
a
because
bank of
if you email
volunteers?
everybody and then they start replying back, it's like, that's just, you're trying to write down on a calendar, like,
Does
okay.
anyone use Google?
Yes.
In the schools, you can use a Google sheet? Does everybody,
Yeah, the schools use Google.
okay,
They use Google Classroom.
they never, Google, there we go.
Yeah.
Use Google. Oh, good.
You can put it on your
Find
list.
out.
Yeah,
Because
as an
Google-
object.
Everyone can see it. and
Right,
add
and it's
to it.
live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just put this down. Is this okay? Can we use volunteers from Westlake at large?
I think the council will just approve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no, like,
Middle,
there's no real answer.
yeah.
They're gonna
You
determine
can't
it
do
once
an
we.
volunteer opportunity, it just with us in the council.
Yeah.
No, yeah, we can use them from Westlake at large.
Now technically, can't we talk to people that aren't part of this committee about what we're doing?
We have to, they don't know.
Well, then most of it is.
I'm afraid to talk to anybody now.
I know, I'm scared. I saw Principal Edgecombe at Mission Barbecue and I'm like, fuck you, that's not you. Yeah.
Sunshine.
Like Coco had turned out, you mind if I use Coco?
No, that's what I use. That's what-
Okay, yeah, because I said to, Zoe, I said Coco, she goes, who's Coco? I said, it's Colleen, you know, sometimes we drive together and we're like. It's like we're afraid to
Like you're the driver. She sits in the back.
All right, well, that was good. So what else might be
And to volunteer.
an issue? Yeah. The volunteer opportunities.
You know, I from working with Principal Edgecombe, I think that, which I probably shouldn't have done without you knowing that, but, it's easier to work with the elementary principals. I don't know how it is with the high school, and middle school.
It'll probably be more through like the PTO because
Okay.
the high school principals and the middle school principals. Oh, we heard from the middle school principal and he just had a lot on his plate. And I know from meeting with the high school principal, it's, you know, it's a whole different thing that they're dealing with too. And so I think a lot of the volunteer opportunities are going to come from the different booster clubs. So
Okay.
like the athletic booster club, the band boosters.
Now, will you contact them?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I'll reach out and ask who the booster lists are, and then I'll send an email to the boosters and find out their dates, and then I'll forward it to you. I'll CC you,
And I'll let you know. I know Golden Grove typically, like being a parent there, it's just a running sign up genius. It's like Monday through Friday, lunch duty, like you sign up and don't sign. Yeah, so I could definitely reach out and
So when you say work with PTO in terms of,
to see what the events are. Yeah.
for the events.
Yes.
That's info, huh?
I like it. Yeah.
Next,
Funding.
moving right along. This is cool.
You know, let's bring the business community.
I was thinking that
Yeah.
we could tie that in.
They kind of roll over maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we know we have the 5K that they said they were gonna do like a rotation every year.
Yeah.
It's from the 5K. We started at elementary school, but then it's school. So we have that.
How was that money raised?
It's a 5K. Race.
The Westlake 5K.
I thought you were about 5,000.
I was just gonna clarify that.
Yeah, yeah.
Funding 5K, let's
Yeah.
Okay.
5K race.
I could say 5.
We could, again, like, you know, community sponsors for different sporting teams.
Right, and that would tie into like the business sponsors too, so there's just a community sponsor.
All right, let me tell you what little piece I have here. I went into Culver's. I've been in there a few times. I really like it. But I noticed when I walked out, there were some framed pictures on the wall, and there were all these kids with an adult or two. And it said something about Culver's. They had a special name for it. I can't remember what it is. So I said, I wonder what this is all about. So I called if there was, I asked if there was a manager there, and they said, yes, there is. And the young man was very nice and very polite, and he didn't really know a lot about it. What he told me that he knows about it is schools have a night. It's called something like a night at Culver's. They invite, maybe you've heard of it.
Proceeds go.
The what?
Schools do the
Like
proceeds.
15%
Yeah.
of all the
Yes,
proceeds.
exactly. And I said, how is the percent determined? And he said, it depends upon what the revenue was from the people that are brought in. So I'm hearing that we can't take the money in ourselves, but if we were to be the sort of like precipitator of saying to the principals, here's something that might be an opportunity for you to raise some money for the school. And what we can maybe do is try to help them get a lot of people to go, you know, and maybe we, you know, if the council approves it, maybe they could mention it for
Right.
people to go, because the more money, the more people that go, the more they buy, the more revenue we'll get. I do have,
Westlake for them to go to.
I have the owner's email. He said she's used to getting calls. It's a woman. It's a woman-owned place. I don't know what this means. True Blue since 2020. Maybe that means she's worked there. And she,
She's working since 2020? Oh, I thought you said 1920.
2020. So this would be the contact person.
Okay.
So we can ask about. It's, yeah.
But that's not in Westlake, so would they be able to donate the funds specifically for Westlake schools? Since Culver's is not
That's a good
part of it.
question.
Or maybe just throw this out, maybe some of our surrounding areas.
I think
see
they
what
let,
options-
they can't stop people from coming. So I think, people are gonna walk in there and buy food.
We could
I don't know how
Christmas.
they sort it out, but those are the kinds of
Yeah.
questions that we'll ask. But that's a good question. Yeah.
The
Now
district
we
that I
have-
worked in, the kids loved it, McDonald's, they would have the teachers working ahead of time.
Oh,
Really?
They would just rotate in like a little bit, passing out the food. They weren't making the food, they were just passing out.
Blessing
And the kids would love
teachers.
to see their teachers.
Ah,
Right.
But the
oh,
teachers have to be willing to do it.
I don't
Yeah.
think we could have that.
no,
But the
no.
kids loved it. And that was fun.
Wow. That's a cool idea though.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were to do it, we wouldn't mean anything to it.
No, we have to
Yeah,
be the
you know,
teachers.
yeah.
Okay, so I know if I do
Well,
college
again,
funding, they have to hear about how it works. Just to say funding,
Well, usually, I feel like most schools do it, because like my son's school does it with Royal Palm Ice Cream Company.
oh, they do.
Yeah, or Royal Palm Ice Cream, something like that. And then, I don't remember where Nick Grove did it, when my son was in kindergarten there.
My daughter's school did it out for 1 year.
Yeah.
It's just,
That's not it was.
Board Chair, if I may, and I'll be happy to also provide you with a list of new businesses in Westlake, so then you can support the Westlake businesses as
Yeah.
well.
You
So,
know,
because we do have a number of businesses coming online, Three Natives is coming,
Right, yeah.
Had Burger is
Yeah, they're
already
open.
online,
Yeah.
Taco Bell is on their way, so we do have some great businesses, almost, it's
Sorry.
almost online. You said it's already,
Well, I mean, the last few days have been.
I don't know
Well,
that.
Habitat's open.
Yeah, yeah.
Starbucks is, I haven't been to any of them, KFC's open. Yeah.
But I'm happy to give the board a list for the
Yeah,
businesses, so you can support the
Oh,
Westlake
okay.
businesses.
So I'm just thinking of how we should write it when we send it to them. I'm saying Culver's funding for students by students. It's not like,
it's like, it would be like the Golden Grove Elementary night at Culver's, is
Yeah,
like how they
yeah.
phrase it, and then
right,
anybody
Like
who
a
comes in
partnership
and
with
says, I'm here with Golden Grove, then they mark that sale, and at the end of the night, they tally all the
is
sales.
that
and
how they
say-
do it? Okay.
Yeah, so it's not everything sold that night, you have to specifically say,
Oh, okay.
I'm here with Golden Grove.
How do you prove that?
Well, you
Usually they
don't.
give a little flyer.
Yeah, I
sometimes,
mean,
too.
it's not like they're like,
Prove it.
you're just there, I mean,
Yeah.
they're not gonna like, they don't get a discount or anything. It's,
No,
so
no.
there's really nothing to.
They're
boost them to
supporting
do it. Yeah,
schools.
so they just say, I'm here with like Golden Grove, and they'll like tally it up, and at the end of the night, they do, and they'll present the money to
Yeah.
the student.
I mean, what, I think we could do is work with the school to help them think about ways to get more people,
Mhm.
to go to support the
I was just
school.
thinking of something off topic here, but if you have volunteer opportunities that you want to let them know about, can you contact me outside this meeting?
No, you can send it to Zoe. And then she'll send it to her. She's not busy enough, nor is Janet, right? Yeah,
Well, here, I won't hear from you, Joe. but this will be-
yes. It's crazy. I know. I never heard of any of this in Massachusetts. and we had-
Massachusetts was, you could do two.
Board
Three's a
meeting.
meeting, two people are okay.
Anything else on this list? Let's say,
Let's see.
I'm gonna say, what funding sources can we work with?
Do you want to know what sources, or this is something we'll discuss next time?
What?
Like,
Could we sponsor an event, like a fundraising event?
You can put on your notes and we can take it.
So like, I know, like, when my son was in high school, and schools do like galas. And you get, you have silent auctions, and then, like, you easily do a collage, and, there ain't nothing to do out in Westlake, it'd be nice to get dressed up and put some lipstick on one day, and, like, could we have, like, the first annual Westlake
We can take it to
gala?
council.
There is one already. Have you seen it? The woman's name is Pam.
The International
Yeah.
American
Yeah,
Association.
I don't know how she does it. It's not affiliated with Westlake per
It's just a
se,
club,
just
yeah.
a club.
Yeah. But
They
like,
have, a big formal.
Yeah.
Where they all get really dressed up to the
It's
nines.
a scholarship for high school students.
And where does the scholarship money come from? Do they
From the
pay to
tickets.
go to that? Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Is it expensive?
I think it's like $800.
Really?
you like, or you could sell a table for like,
Yeah.
and so then you have like a sponsorship, and then you do like silent auctions, and yeah. So there's a lot of money doing that.
If I may, you all, again, have to take it back to council, but remember, you all don't have a budget. So, to get the lodge would cost money. And
Yeah.
you don't have a budget. So keep
Donate
in
it.
mind, when you ask council, you're also asking them
For money.
Yeah,
That's
every
not-
time we use the lodge, we
Yeah.
pay.
Let's
Yeah.
ask them.
Oh, yeah. No, we don't get it for free.
Ah,
Well, we can
Pay
ask them.
taxes,
We spend a
let's
lot
ask
on fireworks. We could definitely ask them.
Yeah.
We can ask them.
Yeah, we just keep asking.
Just keep asking, what are they gonna say? No? Okay. And then
We try again.
Just-
Now you're feeling my changes. I've had a lot of these discussions with
One second, we should print
Jennifer about,
wait a minute, one second. My yoga program, I
Uh-huh.
take donations. I don't charge people. And this month, the donations go to Love Patch Rose.
but not as the board.
No,
No,
never.
that's true.
No, that's my question. Can I do that and have it go to a Westlake, school, which is not really Westlake, but a Westlake?
Well, I guess not as the board. You could do it with your volunteer group, right?
You could, if your board agrees that's something you want to do, that you can take back to council.
Okay,
And then they
we'd like
can
to do that.
okay.
Well, yeah, okay.
So what do
Yoga
we,
class.
what do we, give me a.
Yoga donations, yoga, Presswind Yoga Club donations. Presswind Yoga Program donations.
Something like.
Yeah, you've raised a lot of money.
You do like a community like yard sale or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Because there's all kinds of stuff on the curb alerts that probably people from other communities have seen a couple bucks here, you know what I mean? And just like one day, or just set your stuff up and you give, proceeds to
Right.
this.
Now, I don't know if this is part of funding, it probably isn't, it's more of just like a, I don't know. But one of my neighbors in Hammocks has organized like a back to school drive for the last like 3 years, and they get a ton of backpacks that are filled with all the school supplies from the school supply list. Maybe that's something, she brought it to me saying that she would love to do that on like a Westlake level, because it's just a Hammocks event. Maybe that's something that we could do, like we could post that as the board maybe.
Yeah,
Bring
we
it to
did
council.
in the past,
Yeah,
the
ask the
board
board.
did backpack collections. But I just think everybody does backpack collections. Try to do something a little different that they need. I don't know.
But back to school list, I mean, this year, it ran me almost $300 and something. So
How many kids?
Really?
for one child. So I think even though it's common, I would say it's needed.
Wow, what is on that list?
And then you have to remember, if you look at our city, like each of the schools, and you look at the percentage of kids that are low income, it's a good 50%. So I'd
What
say,
did someone mention yard sale?
yes,
So I know in the past what I've done it in my own communities like that, but when people want to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So we have a big area, everyone just brings stuff, donates it, and all proceeds go to schools. That thing.
Yeah.
People just, everyone wants to give something.
Well, you did that with, items for teachers.
That was the new donations, yes.
Okay.
That was 2 years ago. But I'm thinking, so if we have a big, I don't know, who can sponsor it, whatever, community could, everyone just bring stuff.
Yeah, I
Then
just
you have
said
to have
back to
people try to
school
price it
event,
in.
donate
Just, like,
the
drop it
items
off
and then,
Donated items. yeah.
volunteers, a couple people volunteer their garage and.
if we have the event month, we probably have to pay for that.
Yes, I'm thinking.
pay for what?
To rent the event lawn.
Like a big place, and everyone, people just get.
We thought it was gonna be at your house.
Yeah, you can do that.
My street is so quiet, nobody drives down my street, we can just walk my whole street off, my neighbors.
What Presswind? Oh, really?
I'm telling you, nobody drives down my street unless you live on my street.
Oh.
I like one of the connecting streets.
It's better if it's big open space and it's not in someone's garage, then everyone can walk around,
We got a couple
Like
of
a
the
flea
spaces in
market.
the orchards.
like a flea market.
We got a lot of green spaces in the orchard.
Well, we can
Because we
see
could
what
talk
the,
with our respective HOAs to see what the
Yeah.
process is to reserve.
Now, can we all
Nah.
work that or no?
I'm gonna say, like, I, as a member of the orchards community, how do I reserve the green space? Right?
And then we can work it.
But can we all be together? Because we can't.
Yeah.
If we get, if we get
We
permission.
do
we
one
can.
in the hammocks, one in the orchard.
we have little bungee cords and we
Yeah.
can walk just as
And then
far
we'll
as
just
we
have
want.
walkie talkies.
We can take it to legal. I don't think there's an you all working in events.
Okay.
You know, if you're having anything- if anything, you
Shop
notice
collars on.
that the
Okay.
board is, you know.
Oh, I see.
present.
But
You won't be- right? You won't be talking
Yeah.
about business.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, my neighbor, she's really awesome with the back to school. Like backpack drive, like I mean,
Yeah,
it's
we can
amazing.
partner, you know,
Yeah,
we can
she'd love
partner
to,
with
she'd love to.
them.
One of my sorority sisters is like a VP at Lansing. Like, really?
Wow.
Not saying, I'm not gonna say it. Your Facebook message tonight, and ask her how she's doing.
I contacted LLB a few years ago to get a bunch of backpacks. I'm sorry.
Did they, really?
Well, I wanted 800. So. Money. All you have to do is ask, right?
All right, that looks good.
Yeah, I like that one.
Well, the last one is, um, volunteer ops, we did.
School
Funding,
awareness
we did.
partnership.
School awareness, is that the
Yeah.
other one? Yeah. Some of them are gonna cross over, but yeah, that's okay.
Now, should we just ask the principals what they want to highlight?
Yeah.
How about the schools?
Yeah, we can.
Principal priorities,
And this is for school awareness for us to know what's going on, or school awareness for residents to understand what schools.
both,
So, okay.
both, I think, could
Do
be.
people
right?
listen to the meeting?
I can't tell right now, but sometimes you have people on,
Okay.
I don't, was there anybody on?
No one's on.
Yeah, but can't you online go and listen to the minutes? Yeah, you can. This is recorded.
So it wouldn't make sense for principals to come to this meeting and present.
Oh, sure, they can.
I mean, they
Why
could,
not?
but
It's just like we had Linda Edgecombe.
Right, but how many people listen?
Yeah.
Oh,
I would say if we get like updates, like what if we be quarterly or monthly or semester, or however these are going to do it. And
We can use it on the Facebook page.
yeah, and then we could just post it on our respected, or just the Westlake in general Facebook page.
But are we, there was something about posting
Oh,
in the groups, remember the
Can I,
first
can you
meeting?
just say like, hey, high school got this going on?
I will put it on your list and we can take it back to the
Yeah,
board.
I think there was like something where we couldn't.
yeah,
think
that
of
makes
it.
sense, yeah.
But I will say, something that I've been wanting to do is having some type of, like just a flyer of all of the schools and, you know, which communities are zoned for what, for closing day. Like when
clothing day. What is
Closing
what is
day,
when they
clothing
buy
day?
their house.
When they buy their house and you get that big packet, you know, for when you close.
Oh,
you can-
closing day.
Yeah,
I
that's a
thought you
good
said
idea.
clothing
No,
day.
you should wear clothes all the time outside.
Yeah. I think
But
I think that's a great idea.
it's very, very confusing
Yes.
because when I moved in here many years ago, they had changed the line since then, but there was half of hammocks that was zoned for Loxahatchee Groves and half of hammocks was zoned for Golden Grove back then. And so obviously when you move and like you are buying in Westlake, or even now, if you're like a new homeowner, like buying an existing home in Westlake, it just tells you Golden Grove, the middle school, and Seminole Ridge. It doesn't tell you the possibility that you could actually be at Waxahachie Groves and not Golden Grove. So I think
yeah,
partnering, yeah,
So
and
you
sending
need
it
to
out.
update that information on.
Well, they don't have
They
it.
don't have it.
They don't have it. It's
They
just
don't?
like if
Oh,
you go
I
on like
thought they said-
realtor.com and you find a
Oh.
home in Westlake, it's
They
gonna
don't tell you
Golden
what the schools are, I mean,
Grove. It just says Golden Grove.
they
All
must,
doesn't say Golden Grove. I've even looked at Skycove addresses that says Golden Grove.
Wow.
Yeah, our listing, it doesn't say. Because Golden Grove is like the Westlake.
Yeah, like have a list of the names. of the
Right.
Schools and then
What
you
they
know,
offer.
registration information, like how to register your child.
so
Yeah.
this would be something that we would generally
We would just make
gather
copies
and,
of them.
and
Yeah.
distribute
Or send a digital copy to Minto, digital copy to the HOAs.
and see if they'd use it.
Mhm.
In the closing packet or
Yeah.
distribute it.
Yeah. Or like if you have a child that has an IEP, like would be going to Waxahachie Groves or.
That you have to register for the bus. You
Right.
just can't ask what time the bus comes,
Right.
because that's why
Yeah.
there's 567 kids on
All
each bus.
preschool kids go to Loxahatchee.
Closing.
Only if they're exceptional student education, because you can go to Acreage Pines too. Acreage Pines is a BPA program.
So what do we call it? School
School information.
assignment updates or?
No,
School
it's
info.
school
Yeah,
information.
assigned
The
school
school
info.
FAQ.
Oh, I like that. FAQ, I liked that one, just school FAQ.
SAQ?
F.
FAQ,
Yeah,
Frequently asked questions.
document.
yeah. We'll see if council approves it.
Now, the big thing in school win is how do we let the community know? How are we gonna put it out there? We can't do a Facebook.
Can city council do it?
So once, if it's something that's approved by council, you all can create it. And then if it's approved by council, you can always give it to staff and we can put it on the Westlake
Website.
But again, it has to be approved by council.
So that will go out there and everyone can look at it, see what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a big one.
Should we write it down here?
I'm sorry.
Are you gonna listen to this after, or should we write it down?
We are, but I
Oh,
think,
okay.
I think whatever you all ultimately decide, the board chair should come up with like a memo, some form to give to, Vice Mayor Langowski so that he can report it.
Can you, once I put this all together, you can distribute it to everybody here?
Absolutely.
And then based on any feedback that they give you, then we could send it over to the next council meeting?
Well, it would be Mr. Lankowski, right?
All right, I keep
You
saying
will
you.
present it to council.
Yeah. Okay,
So we can't do anything, any of this until
Correct.
July next
Yeah.
meeting.
yeah.
I would suggest, Madam Chair, as soon as you put it together, we can get it on the agenda. That way, if not get it on the agenda, get it to Vice Mayor. That way he can present it at the next council meeting. That way, just help with working.
So I think probably I don't know, do we want to give them these next pages of how we would do it?
Yes, because we have to get it approved.
We have to get it all approved.
Okay.
Maybe we can put
They're getting a big assignment.
Maybe put
Let them know
the
we've been
Facebook, the Facebook page on Westlake, this information, can it be distributed, can it be?
Oh, yeah, how would it be distributed?
Via Facebook or? Yeah, distribution.
Yeah.
Or the Westlake website.
That's what,
Yeah.
Jonathan- you go on Facebook and say, check out the Westlake Facebook website.
And then I think one of the other things that we had said about awareness was finding a way that we get updated on like activities and updates at the schools, right? And maybe this would tie into your Google Sheets idea.
See, something like
Yes.
this, I don't think really needs to go to the council, does it? Get updates on school activities? Can't they just talk to their representative school and say, can you give us a sheet?
But how
of
do
your-"
we then distribute those updates?
Well, that's once we get the answer to well,
Yeah, I mean, just.
on the Facebook page or on the Westlake
I know, but we need
website.
permission to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We'll need permission for everything that we want to put on the website,
Yeah.
instead of just, we can't overarch, be like, hey, can we post on the website, and, so it's just better, I think.
Yeah,
to
but
be-
once we drill it down a little bit, it won't be so large as it looks now, I don't think.
Well, right now, what's the plan for getting updates from the school? Like, do we have an
I think
idea?
you each would ask your representative school
And
what,
then we just create like a spreadsheet and then send to Zoe to send to the board?
of, updates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like, we sort of pick priorities here, maybe say to them, what are your like top priorities for the needs of your students, the needs of the school? Or sports, I mean, I don't know which pieces you wanna, go after.
Like I have, so, well, I guess.
What do you
we
think
could do
the community at large would really like to see?
A little bit of everything. I mean, I can't.
Does somebody want to make a template of that?
Does each school have a calendar?
Yeah, they have a
Yeah,
calendar,
yeah,
you can go
they
on their
have a
website and typically look at it.
But I mean, like updates, like for
Organized,
instance, um, there was one that I was like, oh, I feel like it's
With updates
When they
on,
get, maybe like when they get test scores and the test scores. You know, different, maybe they got, like, I spoke to, the principal and he talked about how, 34 students last year graduated with their associates before graduated with their high school diploma. I think that people in the community would like to hear that. And
yeah,
especially even like
that'd be
the
great.
realtors in our community that's like, hey, listen, like we have 30, and that was the most out of any high schools in Palm Beach County.
Really?
Yes.
Was it?
Yes.
Wow.
So we had the highest number of students graduate with their associate's degree out of like all of them, like Jupiter, everything. So I think just like updates, like that, obviously they'll come in, different times, or when we get updates from like maybe, the trade program just built a house. They can take a picture of the house and, so it's different. I think it's just different updates. It just depends on like what's, they're going to be different in elementary school
Yeah.
than they are, like we just had grandparents day and maybe we
Right.
want to put like a picture of that and,
Where do they go? Where do parents go to see that kind of information now? Do the schools have Facebook pages?
They
or-
do.
They do,
yeah.
But there might be things that, maybe we have, people who live in my community who, let's say, don't have any kids in the high school, but, they build houses. Maybe they would want to go and help this kid, like volunteer and do things like that. Or, like I know my mom used to go volunteer, like you guys did at the elementary school, because her grandchildren, I took them away from her. And so she has to go read stories to some strangers.
No guilt.
I didn't know any of them. Said, you sent me to summer camp for 8 weeks. And I was the age of 7. Clearly, you don't feel alone. So,
Me too.
yeah. But, like things like that. Like there's different things in the community that, people might want to do or get involved with that you might not necessarily have a kid or whatever. So, just, again, I think the more information we give the board, the more direction we have of what we can and can't do. So we're not constantly going
Right,
back and saying,
right,
well, can we do
exactly.
this? Can we do this? So let's just
Exactly.
do a one and done and
Right,
ask them all at once. And
right.
so they're not like,
And the next time we're meeting is not for a little bit, so
I know. That's the problem. We don't meet very often.
maybe.
well, maybe after we hear back from the city council meeting, if we can get it in November, we can hold a special meeting to review those, right?
I can't, we're not gonna be able to get it in for November.
It's not until December,
December.
but you can meet in January, so that.
It's still a month early.
Yeah, maybe December.
Well, then we can go full force once we know what we can. do.
Right.
That means we wouldn't have another meeting until
January.
January, December. Yeah, and the holidays and everything, yeah.
We don't have a lot of time to think of some great ideas.
Anything else for school awareness? I think a lot of this feeds into generally what we're talking about. Getting updates and developing some kind of a plan for distributed where we think people would get the most benefit and read it. And if it's repetitive, so what? Sometimes people look at the Facebook, but they don't look at the Gene, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would be good for us too.
Yeah.
Because then we get a sense of what the priorities are for each of the schools.
That's true.
Yeah, I think this was great. Anything else? No. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. See you. Board member comments, reports, or updates? Any other reports or updates that we didn't get to while we were going through this process?
Well, I have a question. So today, I've been communicating with Principal Edgecombe with Presswind Women's Group whether to volunteer.
Right.
Now, is that not the right thing to do? Because I contacted her personally.
No.
Well, you're not
You're not representing
doing
the
it on
board.
behalf of this group. See, this is a little
I
bit
know.
dicey.
I know.
You're
I
doing
don't
it
know,
on
let's
behalf
see
of
what do
the
you
women.
think, Jen?
As long as you didn't do it on behalf of a group, this
Yes.
board,
Yeah.
you welcome to.
But in my head I was, because I'm the outreach coordinator.
As long as you didn't say I'm coming on behalf
Yeah,
of.
Right. You
No,
were
I
on
did.
behalf
I
of-
said
You're
I'm
gathering
someone's-
information and
Yeah.
you want to share it here while you're here, that is.
Okay, so it's not, and it wasn't official.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought I was doing it, okay, so I get that.
You gotta just separate it, I guess.
Yeah. But report out that Principal Edgecombe thought it was wonderful. We had 12 women come. She thanked us profusely
Very
on,
nice.
an email. And so things like that, I think will in the future, as long as I go through.
The right channel.
Now, I should probably not send you those emails because I did it on behalf of the press women.
That has nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
right?
Moving forward. Moving forward, now we know. Now I know.
So anyway, it was great. It was great today. Thank you great to the kids. And
Tell us, how does that work exactly and what kind of time commitment do you make?
15 minutes.
15 minutes?
So,
You go
yes.
down there for 15
Well,
minutes?
it was kicking off their jumpstart read for the record. You said
Okay,
you have a
yeah,
child there?
yeah.
So we read to, there was 12 women that came. We all read the same book. It was your daughter probably, what grade is your daughter?
No, so he was there
Okay.
for kindergarten. Now he's at H.L. Johnson.
Oh, okay.
He's gifted, and that's our gifted school. in
Oh,
Westlake.
okay. It was a book called Piper Chen Sings. And it was about a little
Hyper what?
Piper Chen Sings.
Um,
About a little girl that was loved music, loved to dance and sing and so forth. But her music teacher asked her to come to the musical and sing a solo. And so she got all kinds of butterflies in her stomach and talked about how to deal with that and how sometimes you just do it, it calms down and goes away. So the kids, I think, they can relate to being nervous.
Yeah.
And the kids they were so good. 12 women went. We did kindergarten, first and second, and we did it from 8:15 to 9:30 in the morning. And we all read the same book. And the woman that went just couldn't say enough about how fun it was and how much they enjoyed doing it. And the principal said, we'd love to have you back for different opportunities. So maybe we can.
Yeah, I love that.
So, and you said you have been working with her, so.
Yes. So I did do my tour with her.
Yeah,
And again, my son did go there for kindergarten, but that was the only year, and then he switched out. So it was very interesting to see all of the programs that they had there that I didn't even know they had as a
Really?
parent of the school. So that's why I say, like, some of these,
Yeah.
the way we disseminate information will really, affect a lot of the parents' decisions to whether or not keep their kid in the local school or send them to a choice program or a private school, or just some parents just don't know. They don't know how great our schools are, to be honest.
so how, if a student wants to go to a choice school and gets in, I
They
don't know,
enter a lottery, yeah.
how do they get there? Is there a bus or do the
You have
parents?
to do your
have to
own
get-
transportation, but here's the thing with choice is every school gets funding based off of the student that attends. So when we're sending our kids to these other schools, whether it's for a gifted program, choice program, ESC, whatever it is, our schools are missing out on the funding. That funding is going to the school that they're now at. So I think it's just really important that we try to boost the excitement of our own schools. Because honestly, we have some awesome schools. So they ended up with 952 students this school year. So when she came to our meeting, she had said they were estimated to have 889. So they were
Wow.
over. As a result, they had to get more portables out back.
Yeah, wow.
And so it ended up being a domino effect because with more portables, less green space. So now they don't have a designated green area for the kids to like roam around and run around for recess because they had to use that for the portables.
Don't tell them to tell them that when they ask, because what they're asking for is more recess type materials.
Yeah, well, they ended up buying that, so they did buy that.
Uh.
But she had an amazing idea, which they're in the process of doing now. They have a courtyard that wasn't being used, so she's repurposing that as like an outdoor area. So she wants to do picnic tables, some type of like shading. It's gorgeous. It just hasn't been used, so it's like needs to be pressure washed, has to be resawed, all of that. But that's her idea for kind of like having an outdoor area, which is really nice. What else? I was able to walk the new portables. Portables have come a long way. I guess they're called modules now. Yeah, right?
Modules,
Yeah, they're like legit
No,
buildings.
no,
So
yeah.
that was awesome. Like windows, AC,
Oh,
like the
yeah.
whole nine. Bathroom.
And sometimes they're not as temporary as you think.
Yeah, right. They're
Yeah.
there, yeah. So yeah, that was her one thing, that the portables were taking up like the recess spot. Another thing that I thought was awesome was the PTO created a cozy lounge and Zen room for the parents, for the teachers.
Wow.
So it's a room that they converted. It's in the media center. So that's probably where you guys were reading. So there's a door in the back of the media center.
We read in the classrooms.
Oh, in the classrooms.
Yeah,
Okay. So in the back of the media center, there's a door, and it's a room probably about this size. It's got dim lights. It's got essential oils. It's got Zen music. There's tons of books. There's tons of like fidget items for teachers that just need that to calm down. There's a sofa. It was beautiful. And there's like coffee and tea station, and the PTO raised the money to do that, which was really cool.
Wow.
You know, when teachers feel that they're
Value.
being
Mhm.
taken care
And
of.
she
Yeah,
said
the
teachers
people
use
like
it
that, yeah.
all the time. From the minute they opened it, teachers have all been in there,
Well,
which is really
yeah,
nice.
she did say the last time that when her teachers come there,
Mhm.
they stay there.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
So there's an
Yeah.
equation
Yeah.
there, yeah.
I think she said, yeah, I mean, she says teachers rarely leave her school. She's not having the staffing issues
Right.
that the middle school and everything is.
Of anybody leaving. It's
Yeah.
just now having to get new
New
teachers,
teachers
for
to
the
fill
new
in
students.
But are high discipline issues a little easier than the elementary schools?
I don't know.
It depends.
Really?
I think
Different types of,
Yeah, I
different
think it's
types
different
of-
types.
yeah,
I think it's different types.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
but with the increased enrollment, what I did notice say that the class sizes were pretty good. Class sizes were
Yep.
20.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
And that was,
Ah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Mhm.
She was able to hire 8 new staff. She noted that this is the most diverse the school has ever been, and she would argue that it's the most diverse school in the area, which is pretty cool. And that goes for the population of students and the population of staff.
Wow.
They are looking to create a STEM lab. So one of the 8 new hires that she had hired was specifically for the fine art for STEM. She wants to add STEM as a rotation for the fine arts.
They call it STEM or do they call it STEAM?
There's a STEM because I think A is if you add
Arts.
arts, right?
A
Yeah.
lot of schools have gone
Yeah,
STEAM.
Yeah, that's Waxahachie girls. There's let's see. They did use the Westlake 5K funds for sports equipment.
Oh, they already spent it even though they didn't get it?
Well, that's what it's allocated for, I guess. I guess it's what it's allocated
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
And she showed me like the existing sports
Oh, nice.
equipment
Yeah.
and kind
She
of what
sent
they
me a
had.
picture.
Yeah,
I
so
sent
it was
a
definitely
copy.
beat up. So I'm happy that they're able to replenish
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And the way they do it is the school has like 4 quadrants. So they have a sports equipment cart for each of the quadrants. So she was saying now some of them have to share. So with these funds, they'll be able to allocate sports equipment for each, which is nice. That's about it. Really. Oh, I asked her if there were any issues. She said the biggest issue they're having right now is that the buses are coming late almost every single morning. They get there at 8:15. And so for some of the classrooms that have to do morning work, the kids are missing morning work. Some of the students who are in like an intensive reading program or things like that, that's from 8 to 8:15 or 8 to 8:30. So they are missing that as well. And she said it's almost every single morning. They're not there at 8:15. But she did notify the district and they're working on it.
Did she ask about when the money was coming?
She was so
Very
humble.
politely.
She did not.
Yeah,
She did
okay.
not. Yeah, I think that was really it for the most part. I mean, she went over a lot of the academics. I was able to go into the different classrooms. They do have advanced math placement where students are doing math programs for a grade ahead. So if you're in 3rd grade, then you do 4th grade math work. If you're 4th grade, 5th grade, and apparently it preps you all the way up for high school when they have to do advanced placement. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, and the kids were loving it. So that's awesome. All right, that's all I had really.
Now, which school had the multimodal path problem?
it's the elementary school.
Yeah.
It's still not open.
Yeah, I guess.
I think it's just,
Was it done or no?
it's,
Or I haven't been there yet.
it's like,
I haven't
it's
seen it yet.
like this, it's like a plot of grass and it literally is just a checklist and an inspection signature. And it's like I know people are using it, but it should be, from what I read on like the city website, it's missing like 2 to 3 things. I think the mayor made a comment on a Facebook group, it's missing like 2 to 3 things, and then it's just the inspection, but technically it's not open yet.
It's been a long time.
It has been. She was very excited for it, so I know
Yeah,
once it
yeah.
does open.
Yeah, should be
Which
nice.
might help the bus issue. Yeah. Yeah, good.
Thank you.
That's all I have. I don't have any updates, just from the one I mentioned earlier, the baseball coach reached out and asked for some support and boys.
Yeah, I mean, as you're out and about, you know, and touching base, I hope at least once every quarter, maybe with your school. You know, just because we made those priorities doesn't mean you can't talk about the other or move that forward. You know that it's just a list that we made for ourselves to prioritize. But if somebody's got something that's really nagging at them and they need something that we can help with.
Yeah.
Yeah, try to help them.
Madam Chair, I have something. Someone applied for the vacancy in the board.
Oh, wow. You mean they just applied tonight?
No, I think it was within the month. They just received probably maybe 2 weeks ago.
Oh. So do we look at that? No,
Let's go to-
just take it? Okay.
Oh, council does it, okay.
Cool. Keep, no.
No, we had one extra alternative
Oh, I
that
see.
was never filled.
I see.
Well, we had one person that applied and then decided not to take it. So it's been open for quite a while. So that's good. That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So how does that work? They don't have to come to every meeting? If we know somebody's not making it, then we ask them, or can they come to every meeting?
I think it's suggested that they come to every meeting so they're familiar with what's going on. But they absolutely will count towards a quorum if any of you all are missing.
So they come to the meeting, they just don't participate in the meetings.
Oh, they don't participate.
Okay, cool.
I don't know, I'm gonna mention it because it was talked about, when I was having some conversations with Zoe and Jennifer and with Greg, there was some discussion about, and I don't know if this will come up again once we move this forward to the council, about the issue of having difficulties in terms of what we can and cannot do. And that one of the, talking points that came forward was something about an ad hoc committee. But I didn't really know much about how an ad hoc committee functioned, and I didn't know if it was different in Florida or different in other places. Because there was some discussion about, well, maybe one of the options would be to move this out of the purview of the council and just do something on our own. I wasn't crazy about that idea, frankly, because I think this committee has had some difficulty being cohesive historically. Not now. I think we've got a great group. But we did some research. I think Zoe and maybe Jennifer did some additional research, and it seems like the ad hoc committee that they were discussing is really different from what an ad hoc committee is. I said Zoe and Jennifer, but it says an ad hoc, in case you hear something about it, an ad hoc meeting is one that occurs outside your usual recurring meetings or meeting rhythms. They are also called one-off meetings. Ad hoc meetings are called to deal with a specific topic or discussion versus a recurring meeting that takes place at regular intervals and has ongoing regular topics. Ad hoc meetings can be constructed with no preparation or planning. Or they can be structured with an agenda meeting. It depends upon the purpose of the meeting. So, I mean, there's a lot here, but it sounds like it's really just an offshoot of a committee of advisory board like we are. I don't know if you had anything else to add, either Jennifer. But just in case you heard something, what would you feel about that? If we weren't part of Westlake?
I don't see what. Why would they wanna do
Westlake
it?
in terms of working with the council and working as an advisory board.
What would be the point of not keeping us the way we are? That would be
We
my
could all
vote.
talk to each other all the time, night and day.
And you lose a little bit of accountability. And its members still be voted in on.
Right, so then it would.
We have our own
Yeah.
rules.
Just go, so we just go rogue.
Rogue. That's how I saw it. I
It sounds more
never,
like a volunteer committee. Like a
yeah,
volunteer team.
yeah. I think that I take some pride in the fact that we're working with the council.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody knows that this is a committee that's
Right.
committed to the city and working with the city for
Right.
the betterment in education.
I would like to think
So-
if someone wants to start their own road committee, that they would still want to work with us in some way. And I think working with the city council gives us more visibility within the community and with the teachers, instead of just saying like, hey, this is the Orchards Educational Advisory Group. It's just a couple of moms and we want to do this, and that we're doing things in a procedural order and things are getting done, instead of just, willy-nilly, you and your ladies club do things very well, but, sometimes, one group wants to do it one way, then you've got another group that does it another way. I think it's good that there's just something official, and that's how it works.
And those rules.
Okay, thank you. I agree. All right, any other comments or reports or updates? No? And now it's time for public comments. You have sat there very patiently. So what you need to do is tell us your name and your address.
Okay. My name is Sylvia Johnson. My address is 5543 Death Star Lane, Westlake. I didn't initially come to make any comments. I just kind of wanted to see how everything works and just get the updates. But you did mention, Ms. Edgecombe mentioned bus issue is still ongoing. Both of my children attend Golden Grove. So that is a concern that we have, that they are not meeting the full amount of hours that they I guess have a right to under the Florida public education system. So my daughter is getting to school 8:15, sometimes 8:30, my son as well. Luckily, they're doing very well, so it's not going to affect them, but my daughter's kindergarten teacher did say that next year the schedule's a little different. So I think they do the math block in the beginning of the day. So that's something that I want to make sure that she's getting all of that education time in and not disrupting her classmates, the teachers, and it's not just affecting her. That was the only thing that I wanted to.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a serious
Yeah.
concern. Yeah,
Yeah,
we will have
absolutely
more
is.
students when the Pines open up too.
And Woodlands.
But why
And
is it
disruptive to
running
your
late?
child doesn't want to be feeling like, oh my God, I'm late again.
Well, and
It's
you know
not
what
her
it is,
fault.
it's
It's her
like
fault.
I think it's multiple issues going on at the same time, but the bus also, because there are so many children, there's 100 kids at the elementary bus stop, so they need 2 buses. So sometimes what happens is they all get on the bus and then they count. They're not counting when they get on the bus, so then she counts and then they have to get off the bus, get on another bus, and sometimes that bus isn't there. And then on top of that, sometimes the bus coming home from school has to do 2 rounds. So some of the kids wait for basically an hour at the school. I had an appointment for my daughter's ENT, and I asked the teacher, I called the school, and I was like, well, can she be on the first bus? And they said, there's no way to guarantee that. Transportation just calls us and says, we have a bus, we don't have a bus, I don't know. So they were like, you have to pick her up at 1:30 or before 1:30. And that's just for my daughter to go to a 3:45 or 3:30 appointment. for doctor. So it's slightly frustrating.
Yes.
And Principal Edgecombe also shared that the transportation is
It's not a part of the county.
correct. It's a
part of
third
the
party. It's a
county.
third party.
No,
It's not a
sorry.
part.
Yeah,
It's not a part of the county, so they're not allowed to,
we can't even say,
like, oh, you
let's give each kid a number, your
Right.
bus 1 and your bus 2. It's out of our hands.
Is it that way in all the cities?
Yeah,
I mean, if there's tardiness in terms of they don't have the right amount of buses? Or is this like
Yes,
a
I
I think,
Westlake
no,
phenomenon?
there's
yeah.
a bus shortage.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
I'm in the Palm Beach County Moms Facebook group, and bulk of moms are complaining. Wellington moms are complaining, and it's just a shortage all across.
Just like, you can't get enough teachers, think about being a bus driver.
Yeah. Well, I just think the biggest thing that is a concern is the tardiness, because I know my son personally, if he's late, his whole day is thrown off.
Yeah.
The whole day is done. He's not focusing, he's rowdy, So I can only imagine other students as well, how this sets them off for the rest of the day, kind of sets the tone,
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
running into class.
Yeah.
They're all stressed out.
You're stressed. You're
Exactly.
stressed, yeah.
Elementary school kids.
So I think that's a huge thing.
Why can't they count them when they go on the?
You would
Mine
think, right?
too, right.
Sometimes they wind up having to wait too, because other kids, and I feel like they should just leave at the time.
Yeah.
Because,
You
you know,
should. If you're late, you're late.
they
Yeah.
wait, they're sitting there waiting for these other kids that are like running up to the
Yeah.
bus, so.
So
it's-
everyone gets to go on the bus. There's no bus passes. There's no, you're on bus 1, you're on bus 2.
There's no assigned buses or seats. It's, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a free for all. They do get scanned on, but
Oh, okay.
you know, I don't know if there's a procedure behind this that I don't know about or understand, but I would think as you count them as they get on.
Yeah.
So,
All right, call up and say my child's not home yet. Is she on the second bus? I don't know.
well, and that's the thing, they have the app, but the app is a little finicky. Sometimes we
Oh.
don't get the scans until well after they've gotten
And
off
it's
the
the on the
bus.
badge. They
It's
scan
the
the badge.
scan,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, well, that's some sort of accountability, but
Yeah.
wow.
That might be something that we can, you know, with the kids being late, I know there's a lot of bus stop issues, whatever. Again, with the community outreach, I know there've been some issues in the orchards where we live with people running stop signs right at the bus stop.
Yep.
And I think a kid actually got hit.
Yes, a high school.
High school student. And I know there were several moms who said,
Wow.
I will volunteer to be like a crossing guard, you know, like how,
Yeah.
you know,
Again,
again,
guards. I like that.
yeah, like within the communities, like, let's get them a vest. I got a Cricut at home. I can make them a stop sign, you know, and Martina was one of them, and she said, I'll go, you know, 10 minutes early, 15 minutes early and make sure that the kids can cross, because it's, when I was taking my daughter to school one time, right, the 4-way stop right before our gate, this person was flying. And honestly, like if I wasn't, like we were at the stop sign, if I didn't pause a little bit longer to put on a podcast, we would have rightfully taken our thing and we probably would have got hit by this. I think it's the same blue car that's going in the neighborhood. But parents have said, I'll volunteer to be like a cross guard, or, you know, like I'll stand at the bus stop and I will count the kids that go on. All right, we're at 50, stop, you go. Sorry, Jack, you're late. Your
So
mom's
is there
gonna
a
have to
teacher
take
out
you
there
to
doing
school.
that?
No.
What do you have to do to get a legitimate crossing
That's what I
guard?
put down,
like
I
you-
wonder.
Like you have at all the other schools that are.
Well, the crossing guards are at the school. So you can't get a crossing guard in the community.
I've seen them in the community. I used to, when I was still working at Palm Beach State, there was a road behind the school and one block over, and they had crossing guards.
But was it on like it wasn't like in a community though. So that's where it's
Okay,
at. Like
yeah.
it's
Well,
in-
town center,
because
right?
it's
Town center's not
private.
considered the community, so maybe it could be on town center.
well, we're talking about in like
Oh,
where the
it's
bus
in-
is in
Inside the
orchards.
community.
Yeah.
So hammocks, the bus stop is outside.
You only
Yeah.
have control.
Yeah.
Of what goes, you have
But I
control.
mean,
of
we
what
could
goes
have
on.
like ask for parental volunteers again, like again with the Google sign up form, if we're allowed
Yeah.
to do that. Because it's a little crazy. So I have heard lots of issues about the bus. Thank you, Sylvia, for bringing that up again.
Well,
I think we mentioned it a couple of meetings ago.
Yes,
Madam Chair, I also want to add, discussing your January meeting date.
Oh, yes, thank you.
I have 3 date options that are available based off of the school calendar as well. January the 13th, January 16th, and the 23rd.
So can you give me the dates of the week? January 13th?
It's a Monday.
Monday?
Monday, Thursday, January 16th, and then the next Thursday, January the 23rd.
I can't do the 23rd, but I can do the others.
I'm fine with that.
January 16th or the 27th?
No. which one's the-
What was the third one? What's the third one?
23rd.
The 23rd. You can't do the 23rd.
Correct.
How about the 16th on the Thursday?
16th works for me.
Will we be here again?
Yeah, yeah.
Can we just do it at my house?
Well, send that-
All present.
We have to send it to the board to let.
Exactly. Incentive.
I'll make a charcuterie.
So January 16th?
Yes, 6 p.m.
January 16th, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wait, why did I?
No,
No, it's fine. It's just for some reason my
Lisa,
Calendar.
good?
did all the invites like yours. I won't make this one. I can't do this. People think I'm sending them an invite.
Oh, it's 25.
Well, thank you, everyone. I think this was helpful, and I think it'll help to guide us, so.
And then maybe, I don't know, if we're still together next year, we'll be able to go
I think
into
so.
it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Actually do
I like
something.
this idea, like
Yeah.
if the council approves, then we can do a special off meeting now. Can we call a meeting?
We can call it additional
Yeah.
meeting, right?
If the council approves all of this, and then we can kind of hit the ground running.
Can we? Yes, yeah.
And even next school year, if we're together,
Also, oh, true.
Yeah,
on all the rules.
yeah. Well, this won't go to them until December because everything is set up for the next meeting on.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess do I make a motion to adjourn? We can adjourn, huh?
You just adjourn.
Pardon me?
You just adjourn with the time.
Okay, the time is
7:38.
7:38. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.